My name is Hollywood Lawn, and yes, that song is completely true about me hitchhiking from Miami at the age of 15 and a half, I might add, which is not easy, in 1963, for a boy. And I plucked, well, actually, I don't know which I did first, which was I think I plucked my eyebrows first and then shaved my legs. I don't know how to, plucked your eyebrows along, shaved the legs. Hey, yeah, the song's right. Plucked her eyebrows along the way, shaved the legs, and then he was she. Yes, the song's right. Jackie Curtis was like the snappy redhead, you know, a real smart one. Candy was Jean Harlow, blonde. Uh, and, and I was the brunette. In the beginning, we were all friends, like in the early 60s, and when we all, you know, this was before any of the Warhol stuff, and we were really like close sisters. We were not like Lana Turner or Jean Harlow or Hedy Lamarr, which is what we wanted to be, or who we thought we were in our drugged, crazed minds. In our minds, we were women, but what we looked like was another story.
They were real lowlife. It was. The song is true. They really were on the wild side. Candy Darling really did give head on the roof of buildings at 4 o'clock in the morning to sailors who didn't know she wasn't a woman. You know, Jackie Curtis really was putting speed in her coffee first thing when she woke up in the morning, and absolutely had no idea that her beard was coming through her makeup because she couldn't even see her face. You know, Hollywood Lawn really was laying in the gutter and asking other bums to help her out.
I think that basically Andy just loved glamorous women. And around that time, he just didn't know any.
Everybody tries to make films very well nowadays, so we go the opposite direction. We try to make them as badly as possible, a little bit in the tradition of the carry-on films. And we find if we put a lot of direction in the films, that gets in the way of the cast, and we're only interested in the cast and whatever they do. So as long as they keep talking and, you know, taking the burden of the film on their personality, really, and we like that. In the meantime, we keep the direction out of it. I mean, when you direct films, you lose them. You lose a lot of the old qualities that Hollywood gave us, which were stars. So we look for stars and let them do what they want.
Jackie was a drag queen. She also had an identity crisis where she thought she was James Dean. She thought James Dean's spirit had come back and possessed her body. But I can imagine James Dean's spirit coming back and taking possession of a drag queen's body. I don't think he'd do that, do you?
Candy tricked Jackie into putting on her first dress and said things like, "Oh, yes, Jackie, you look just like a woman." And of course she didn't and never did. But she turned it into her own trick. And Andy would say, "Oh, but Jackie's so fabulous. Look at Jackie." And of course it worked.
When Hollywood Lawn came along, she was very trashy. She'd take her clothes out of garbage bins. She was like drink and scream and roll around on the floor and throw her things, pull her dresses up in the air. And Warhol was absolutely fascinated with Hollywood Lawn. And Jackie and Candy were like, he's liking her now, you know, they were like livid.
Lights, cameras, action. There was 2 little lights and 1 camera, and Paul behind the camera, and then of course the set was the, you know, well, this is a little bit cleaner, but it was a dump, and there was Joe, my big co-star, sweeping.
I just happened to be in the same building that they were shooting something in, and friends of mine said, "Oh, Andy Warhol's downstairs shooting a movie." And I said, "Who's Andy Warhol?" And they told me this famous artist, and we went down there to watch, and Paul came out from standing behind the camera with Andy and asked me to do a small scene, and Andy sat behind the camera with it, reading. He would always read a newspaper while he sat behind the camera, and all he did was click the camera on and off. That was it.
It was really weird. It was really strange to see all those people just like heading in my direction after I just left jail. Mobs of people going, ah! And all they wanted was my autograph. I signed my first autograph that night. Oh, when I saw my name in lights, it was like so, oh, it was like everything I had ever lived for.
Max's Kansas City, a restaurant near the factory, is the gathering place for New York's underground. Almost every evening, Warhol's clan can be found here. Kansas City functions as both an unofficial casting agency and a public playground.
Oh God, that place was sick. It was wonderful. Yeah, so much happened back there. In one night, I mean, you would just see like, you know, I mean, everybody from Patti Smith, Robert Mapplethorpe, Mick Jagger would be there, somebody else would be there, Jane Fonda and Rajah Dean would be in the no, they'd be somewhere else. And of course, in the bathrooms, people were just doing drugs and of course, the music.
During this time, from 64 to 70, there were two individuals I knew who were called the Sugar Plum Fairy as a nickname. Huh. Neither of the individuals who were the Sugar Plum Fairy were important to remember. Their only significance is that they became that character at that point. Lou, in Walk on the Wild Side, took poetic license. The Sugar Plum Fairy. The man, like in Heroin, or I'm Waiting for the Man. The guy who delivers to you. The Sugar Plum Fairy.
Well, at first we were all friends. We were all girlfriends because we were all out in, you know, the gutter together, so to speak. But then once stardom hit, especially with the two of them, Candy just went to that place. She just wanted stardom so desperately. And Jackie was sort of like, I know, and at that point, I was like just the loose maniac. I just wanted to get laid and get high. You know, so I'm not making excuses for myself. I was having a good time, and I didn't give a shit about those two. I just wanted to have a fabulous time and be a model.
Jackie became addicted to heroin, and she died. She OD'd.
The end of the Warhol era came for me basically because of a deal that was made that I was unhappy with. Paul would say things like to other people that were interested in working with me that, oh, I don't really think he could do a script. And Andy would tell people, oh, I thought he was a drug addict, you know. So, I mean, pretty much they weren't helping to further my career in any way. I mean, I'd probably work with them the rest of my life if it was left to them. For Monday? Yeah. Keep everybody filed real well. This is a piece of fan mail, right? And I don't open them. I just write appointments on them, and then I throw it away, forget where the appointment was, who I met. That's what I do all day long.
I'm going to fashion design school to be a... Actually, I'm studying... I want to become a costume designer. And what else? Because I want to open up a little shop, a little haute couture shop, you know. Holly, or whatever. What is it? Holly of Hollywood.